The scripture reading for this morning comes from the Gospel of Luke. The lectionary has us working through Luke. And this is a passage that kind of speaks for itself. It's not very difficult to interpret. Want to remind people that Luke is one of the synoptic Gospels, which means that Matthew and Mark have similar outline and similar stories as this one. And Luke is distinguished by giving more details, by giving sometimes more information that the other Gospels did. It's important to note that in this passage that we're about to read, it's how Jesus comes head to head with the authorities, how Jesus comes head to head with the religious leaders. And in this passage, he's reminding the religious leaders that God is not constrained by the law, that God is not constrained by the limits and the framework of the law. For those of you who may not have heard Keith or me say in sermons past, first century Judaism was marked by a zealousness to the law. They had the laws of Moses, which we see now in the Old Testament. And they wanted to enforce them 100%. They wanted everybody to follow the law all the time, which was quite impossible to do. And what they did is that they were always vigilant to see if you were following the law and how you were doing it. And if you ever broke a law, then, that's it. You either A, had to redeem yourself with a sacrifice at the temple, or sometimes, depending on how serious it was, you were not allowed back in. And so Jesus was revolutionary for his time because he was actually interpreting God as a God that transcends the law, as a God that goes beyond human understanding, and that the love of God is not to be confined to rules and regulations. So this is the theme for today's passage, it's also the theme of the ministry of Jesus. It is printed in the right-hand panel of the bulletin if you want to follow along. On the Sabbath, Jesus was teaching in one of the synagogues, and a woman was there who had been crippled by a spirit for 18 years. She was bent over and could not straighten up at all. And when Jesus saw her, he called her forward and said to her, "Woman, you are set free from your infirmity." And then he put his hands on her, and immediately she straightened up and praised God. Indignant, because Jesus had healed on the Sabbath, the synagogue leaders said to the people, "There are 6 days for work, so come and be healed on those days, but not on the Sabbath." And the Lord answered him, "You hypocrites! Doesn't each of you on the Sabbath untie your ox or donkey from the stall and lead it out to give water? Then should not this woman, a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has kept bound for 18 long years, be set free on the Sabbath from what has bound her?" And when he said this, all his opponents were humiliated, but the people were delighted with all the wonderful things he was doing. Here ends his reading, and we ask for God's blessings upon it.